We are live.
Beautiful. Rory Gallagher looks very
He's
well
never, he's never looked so well, my
in the
friends.
background.
He's never looked so well.
We also have Pink Floyd over here. We also have David Bowie and who were them lads?
Sonic Youth.
Were they a band?
They were a band.
Were they any good?
They were good. I liked them.
I've never heard of them. Why have I never heard of them? What
Um,
sort of band were they?
90s kind of.
90s.
Yeah.
The poster looks 60s, early 70s.
Yeah. It's that was a gig poster that I got a print of. It's like printed on the metal thing.
Did you ever go see them?
No.
Oh. And then we have Jim Morrison down there.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend. One of my idols. I'm sure I've mentioned that many times.
How are things, Stephen? Are
Grand.
you
We're,
well?
we're a little bit late.
We
We
were.
were, yeah. We went to.
You took me on a date.
I did. I brought you on a date,
It
Chris.
was cute, man.
It was very cute.
Oh
We
man,
held hands and everything.
we had such a fun time.
I did. I enjoyed it. We were at a show in the
You had
Clamars
a
Town.
tear in your eye. At
I
one
did.
stage.
I did, and that's before we went in.
Yeah.
We went to the Clamars Town Hall where I got invited to a different type of show than I've probably ever been at before. It was it was called Fanny or Fáine or. My Irish is not the best, and Irish is not one of my strong points. So if I said that wrong, my apologies. It is a story, a love story told through interpretive dance and orchestral music about a family from Mayo in famine times. Famine times. I actually done a story out earlier on before I came up, and
You sure did.
famine times is actually a tongue twister. Try say it fast.
Famine times.
See, it's a little bit off. I kept saying
I tell you what was a bit off.
what?
Doing anything about a massive tragedy like the famine in interpretive dance.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You thought it was weird. I thought it was beautiful. I'm a true romantic though, especially when it comes to Irish patriotism.
Or as your father would
And-
call you, a pleb.
I do. I'm a very romantic, deep romantic soul.
You are. You're.
I am.
You do. You do.
I'm the last of the romantics.
Aren't you the last?
Yeah, one of them.
Oh, you're bollocks.
I really am, especially when it comes to anything Irish. Um,
I would be all for that, but I just don't think. Well, I've already said it to you. I would say I don't think the Holocaust could be taken as, you know,
well, Irish.
talking.
I
the
think Jared
Holocaust,
well from San Francisco.
like when we're talking about interpretive dance.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about.
But it was done so beautifully and elegantly,
Yeah.
and the music was good. You see, that's not your style.
I
That's
just
not your
think-
style.
I think we're talking. I think it's nonsense. Hello, Jared Sheridan. Greetings from San Francisco. He
Yeah.
says
Yeah, you would have loved the show, Jared.
the old West Coast
Yeah.
of America, John.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the sound okay, guys? If you're watching this, jump in the chat. Tell us where you're.
We're going to be
sitting.
saving it anyway, so we just thought we'd do a quick live. So, but if you are in the chat, give us a thumbs up.
So we'll steam straight into it, mate.
Chris is straight
Chris
in.
Pears is in
Yeah,
it.
looking young, cowboy. Thank you very much. Oh, I could do it brushing my hair.
There you go.
The
Going
beginning
the
that
way,
I've
you're
left.
go,
I
you're
keep.
going my direction.
I am indeed.
Going to the same barber.
Yeah, going to St. Barbara. Believe it or not, I keep getting invitations or gifts, or the invitation of gifts from hair restoration companies.
That's nice of them. They
Yeah,
must
I don't
know-
know what they're
they
trying to
must know who
I
your
don't know
friends
what
are.
they're trying to say. I really don't know what they're trying to say. Don't get too close to the microphone. Why am I peeking? Am I?
I don't think so.
I don't
I've
think
been-
so.
I've good. I'm waiting for a piece of equipment to arrive.
Yeah.
That'll be
You
a
see,
game
like
changer.
that, we're building up the sound and trying to get it right. And then I have a couple of juicy guests that I'm going to bring in later on.
Are
When
they going to be
we've
wearing juicy couture when they walk?
very
through the
juicy. They
building?
mightn't be wearing anything, some of them.
That would be the fact. Yeah. So let's dive straight into what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to do this one yesterday, just about just restrictions and how hard it is to create content or to be controversial. Not even you don't want to be controversial, but sometimes touch on controversial topics, like, and not be afraid to get bambasted, and worse still, your pages to be restricted, or your to be not even just restricted, to be banned. Like you,
Page restriction thing's a weird one because it shows that there's no such thing as free speech.
there's no such thing as free speech, and
And it's a lie that if you think you're in America, that you're the bastion of free speech.
yeah, there's like land of the free. It is not the land of the free,
No,
unfortunately, and neither is Ireland.
no, definitely not.
But like I have to curtail and sacrifice the humor or the content, since my pages have got so, like, they're teetering on the edge, and I can think you can tell in my videos I'm holding back, and I
Yeah.
have to hold back. Like I am pushing the boat out a little bit, but it is getting harder and harder. Like I done a video today, and I mentioned um, like what's going on in the Middle East, and I know for a fact that it was half sort of curtailed, especially on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, so Facebook, you've been had a running battle with Facebook
I
for a
have,
long
yeah,
time now.
yeah.
And do you think, like, let's go through them, like, because I this is more about courting controversies first of all. You
Yeah.
know, like you've been trying to touch on these subjects that
Yeah,
are
to
a
try
little
and
bit spicy.
it's a spicy subject, and to try and engage comedy with it. And I think if these groups are obviously Hamas and Israel,
They're hardly
well,
known for
they're
their
hardly known
sense
for
of
their
humor.
for their
Like,
sense of humor.
yeah,
But for other groups like traveling community, and which have had controversy in a few months ago, or not even a few months ago, a few weeks ago,
or the trans community,
or the trans community.
they all take themselves very
They
seriously.
do, they do. And when you think about it, I was probably the only person to bring two groups that hate each other, the trans community or the LGBT community and the traveling community, together
Amazing.
in their hatred of me.
Joe, it was quite beautiful.
It was beautiful. I'm basically a modern day John Hume.
Like, to be honest, I remember when there's a traveler family from our hometown. I'm just gonna say, there's only 8 people watching. We'll
Yeah.
keep it between ourselves.
Yeah.
But after Tom the Hen died,
Oh, Tom the Hen, yeah.
yeah, Jimmy, obviously they basically they went old school. They had all the men on one side of the church, all the
Okay.
women on the other side of
Wow.
the church. And Jimmy, being the head of the family,
Right.
was obviously chief mourner on the men's side of
Okay.
the church. And I was told the story. I don't know.
I didn't know
wasn't
that was
there.
a thing.
I wasn't there, but
Okay.
I could tell you. But yeah, Jimmy put Paul Mahons in with the women because he's gay.
Oh.
He's the most flamboyant gay traveler.
Wow.
Well,
How are you getting on?
he's yeah, he's so he was put in with the
Are you
women.
wearing gold, Paul? Wow. I wouldn't wear anything else.
Yeah, he's a not great.
He's probably waiting for me at the end of the door
Yeah,
now.
for give you a blowjob. Ooh,
Can't be saying that.
naughty boys. But yeah, so obviously they wouldn't have had a great track record with the gay community, the travelers.
What's that?
They wouldn't have had a great track record with the gay.
Yes, no, of course not. Yeah, and the thing is, I have no problem with either community. I was just
Don't care.
making a
No.
bit of crack, but they didn't see it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They didn't like they.
But some people are just getting offended on behalf of these groups,
Yes.
which I understand as well. And there's a lot of keyboard warriors too. But the worse than that is this thing that, like, these pages, Facebook, Instagram, have these monitors, and they're actually AI.
Yeah.
So that it's not actually a person. You can't have a conversation. You can't argue your case. Your page is gone, and that's it. And like, I rely on the page to sell tickets to the live shows, where that is the beauty of the live shows. You can say something, and if someone doesn't like it, well, it's tough titties.
It's
But
said.
it's said, it's done, it's out there. You can't take it back.
Yeah.
The
You
only
don't have someone shouting at you, delete that.
yeah, exactly. Or you're not going to get banned from your next show, because people that are buying to go and see the show obviously know what sort of content they're going to expect. So unless, like, I go to the line, I don't think I've ever crossed the line. Um,
Well,
but anyway,
I think even crossing the line, you don't know where the line is unless you cross it a few times.
well, that's
So
true too.
you can be
Oh, Marcin is on,
well, our boy marching.
and TJ.
It
Shout out to
really
TJ.
is
How you getting on,
looking,
TJ?
lads. Really looking.
Cheers,
Love that.
Marcin. What is the crack? It is late over in Sweden. It's 1:45.
He does like the midnight oil.
Are you having a
more
few
than us.
scoops? Are you? He does.
Yeah.
He's a night owl.
He sure is.
Well, he's an every type of. He's a wise owl, is Martin.
He's a good
Um,
lad. Um,
Heard Lavin got the wank on the plane too. I'll tell a story about that, TJ. The thing is, I never watched the Hardy Bucks right back when it was on first. So people used to be saying to me on the street, "I heard you got the wank over on the plane to Ibiza." I was like,
just
What?
random people.
"What the fuck are they talking about?" And even when I started up the $3 left page, people
Who
were
said
messaging. I said, "What the? Where's this coming from?" So I thought to myself,
You
it's
just thought it was a
obviously.
rumor, like.
I thought it was like a rumor, or obviously someone had said something. I didn't realize that Owen had said it, or Buzz had said it it was Buzz that said it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
until years later, I actually watched the Hardy Bucks and realized
So
that
you're too
Owen had
busy
said it.
working
I was too busy working, yeah,
and having children.
and having babies.
Yeah, fair play,
Yeah.
mate. But some man, you're some man. Like I did.
Oh, fair play, TJ.
You didn't think that it was like people repeatedly saying this. You didn't think to ask anyone else.
No, well, you see,
No,
I
too
was
busy.
always I thought it might be something to do with drinking on a night out or some fucking thing. I don't know what was going
The
on.
story it was also possibly true.
It was also possibly true. I
Um,
actually joined the Mile High Club on the way back from America
to knock.
to Dublin the last time I was coming back.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
fair play to you.
yeah.
So
There was no one with me. It was on
lucky
my own.
lad.
No, I was
I
just
was
on
gonna
my
say he
own.
must have been a lucky lad. Martin must have been there, was he?
No, I was just in the toilet on my own.
That's nice.
So
Okay, what's it like at 30,000 people?
my say it's grand. It's all the same.
Awesome. You didn't give a fuck for after.
I didn't.
after
No,
the
no, you're right.
So going back to, so let's go through the most controversial things that you've approached and the things that have affected you the most. Okay, so like just to go back the last couple of months. So the trans community came after you in quite a significant way.
What's that?
The trans community.
Oh
They
yeah,
they came after
they
you.
came.
Pretty,
They
pretty
came
heavy,
hard.
like.
Now, I could see where they were coming from. If anyone's seen the videos, they were pretty funny. They were
Yeah.
very funny. But I did touch.
Touching the
right.
nerve.
Yeah. Well, I did touch a nerve, and I doubled down on it again with another video,
You did.
and then I tripled down on it.
Yeah.
So, but it all came good in the end.
But
Although they did get the only show we've ever got cancelled.
yeah. So go tell us about that.
Well, I done the video. I think that was the one where I said something about, the 63. Everyone is identifying as something these days. You can imagine if I went down to the Ireland's Strongest Man, Pat Dwyer, and identified as the toughest man in Ireland and started dancing around him. I said my own mother wouldn't identify me in hospital a week later. But there was other bits and bobs on it as well, and I left it up, and I was doing great. Next thing I noticed on Twitter that this Bolshe Bish or whatever page had shared it from Limerick. As it transpired, I'd been chatting then to the Pride group in Limerick, and they said they had nothing to do with it. But this lady goes out and she associates herselse, even though they've no association with her, and associates herself to these Pride groups and just causes fucking mayhem. And she did. But what happened was she shared the video, which is a hilarious video.
Yeah.
It's one of my proudest ones, one of my favorite ones. She shared the video, And
So
not only
what
did she
was she?
share,
What was she saying?
she was
in the
saying that I
show?
was transphobic and homophobic. Well, trans and homophobic is the same thing. Said that I was racist as well. That I'd made jokes of black people and Jews, which I never did.
Not yet.
Not
Anyway.
yet. Um,
Not until this week.
and that's next week's controversy.
yeah.
And they came up, oh, that I was something to do with young girls as well. I was like, they were just making up old shite.
Which
Um,
and like the fact that they said that you had a phobia of it, like you're not scared of any trans
no,
woman,
not
like,
one.
no.
Trans or
Fucking-
man either, for
or
that
woman,
matter. Or woman, or cat.
take you down.
But so yeah, so but not only did they share the video, they shared the video with all the links to all the live shows that we were going to be doing in the next couple of
Yeah.
months, which we never sold so many tickets
It's quick.
in 1 week as we did. So if anyone wants to find umbrage on any of my videos in the next
Please
couple of weeks,
share.
share the videos with the link to all the live shows and ask people to boycott the shows. What generally happens is people buy the tickets.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it would be
'cause-
brilliant. But anyways, yeah. So we went down. As it happened, we were doing a show in Limerick. This is where this person was from.
Yeah.
We were doing a show in Limerick about 2 weeks later, the Cask, which we're going back to on the 26th of January. And we went down and we sold out the show. The show was nearly sold out anyway, but it sold it out literally there and then.
Yeah.
But we had another show lined up for Dolan's, which would be
Bigger room.
slightly bigger room and probably more prestigious in the mindset of Irish people. It is a bigger place, it's been around longer, although I prefer the Cask venue.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful venue. Dolan's is nice, and I was down there a few times with Owen Colligan, and it's lovely to play, but I actually enjoyed.
I
Cask
think,
was probably
as
my
you said,
best show.
people are used to going to gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Cask is trying to make a name for itself, and I hope it does. They're getting some big names in now, and it is an incredible venue. It is probably made for music, but we made it work for comedy, and it was definitely one of our best shows of 2023. It was just myself and Pete as well, which was very interesting because usually we have someone Terry open up for us or Martin, but we worked. It probably meant that we didn't have to rush our set because it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we were in great form that day. The weather was amazing. The pints were beautiful out in the beer garden. We were in great form, and we went in and absolutely nailed that show. It was my best
Perfect.
shows of 2023. But then we announced the Dolan show, and this a very small group in Limerick, kept bombarding Dolan's as soon as they opened it up, and we were expecting after a massive show, in Cask and a brilliant show, and everyone loved it. There was 250 people at it. We were expecting this is going to absolutely just sell itself.
Fly out,
Yeah, and it was on its way. And next thing, 6 hours later, Dolan's. I noticed that I'd shared everything. They had warned me, or whoever was running it had warned me to hit it hard on the day that they announced it, which I did on the Friday. So I just went on to the pages, checked all the pages, noticed that everything that I'd shared had gone. Right. So I was like, what's that about? So I contacted Dolan's. Actually, Alan Clark had set that one up for me. So I contacted Alan, and he said he'll look into it. And he said, I'll get back to you in the morning. But it didn't even wait the morning. About 15 minutes later, he was contacted by Dolan's to say that this group, the Pride group from Limerick, had put so much pressure on them that they pulled the show. And I wouldn't mind, but
I think they were thinking that they were a main sponsor of Pride in Limerick.
Yeah.
And it was just before Pride.
But the thing is, they never notified us or nothing.
No.
Like, I could have been dicking about with videos there. If they'd rang and said, do you know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken down the video, but I would have explained,
But you might have been able to give the context that it was
Of
just
course.
a handful of
a handful, because I had been in contact with the Pride group in Limerick, and they knew nothing about.
but this one or handful of
Yeah.
they're
They're actually,
driving.
but they're not. They just want to cancel everything.
Yeah.
And apparently, this group is actually a group of really hardline feminists,
Yeah.
more so than trans,
Yeah.
But anyway, which is fine. I mean,
Do what you want.
feminists are great. No such thing as bad publicity. 100% TJ, yeah, 100%. And yeah, as was it Oscar Wilde that said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about, which is true when it comes to the public eye, I suppose. Um,
And he knew a thing or two about a
and
dick
he
up his
did.
ass.
Right up the rusty bullet hole. Um, was he solely into lads?
Trans? No, you said the trans.
Well, that's true too.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. I don't know
But
what
that was a
the inner
common thing at the
workings.
time. I
I
suppose
don't know
it's
what
not a
the
new
inner
thing,
work.
is it?
Huh?
It's not a new thing.
No, I don't know.
Alexander the Great, he loved it right up the Gary glitter.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
And he was
Not
some
that I
man.
met him. Like,
No, I know that, yeah, but apparently so.
Um. Yeah, it's a that was a weird one, but then the fact that Yuan kept on coming back anytime there was a controversy, it's almost like there is obviously when the traveler allies.
Yeah, that
we
was
could call
another
them,
strange
that was a
one.
weird one.
That was a strange one
Because
because
the travelers on the street in Swindon
was
didn't
only
know a
on-
fucking thing.
Yeah,
and
not a
they'd
thing.
be giving out to you about something else.
yeah, like I've met people from the traveling community. I had a great admiration. Martin Beans Ward, brilliant actor, brilliant playwright, comedian,
Doing things for himself.
doing things for
And
himself,
he's gay.
and he's gay. So like I have great time for Martin. Humor is exactly what it is. It's subjective. It's not something that someone finds funny. Some other person mightn't find funny. It mightn't be everyone's cup of tea. It's just the way it is. But as I said in my rebuttal of what happened at Dolan's, comedy is subjective, and anyone that's looking to be offended will always be the loudest person in the room.
Yeah, it's
you know,
like
or wants to be offended will
empty
always
kettle, like,
exactly.
Like I think the thing is that they're not solving any problems either. Humor can be a vehicle to solve a lot of issues.
100%. And if they had used that platform that I had at the time, either the trans community or the traveler community, I would have gladly trashed out things with them because between us all, we've a big platform.
Well, the traveler community one was like, and this is my opinion now. That's saying it, but like the problem that they had was that what you said was too close to the truth.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the joke you made was about travelers trying to read, and their literacy rate is poor.
It's poor, yeah. And they were on about. Then they came back with this group came back with any wonder that they're not staying in traveler kids aren't staying in school.
You're not pulling any of them out of school.
Yeah, traveler kids are being pulled out of their schools by their own parents.
It's been happening for generations. Yeah.
So nothing to do with my video or anyone else's video. People would love to see traveling community integrated into the bigger, wider community and in schools. And I think it starts in schools.
I think some of the issues, some of the issues may be just surface level. Like literacy is not something that's deep rooted.
Yeah,
in there.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a problem that.
Well, you see,
and it's a problem that's obviously not as deep as it was years ago.
Yeah,
even 10 years.
And hopefully it's getting better. But what's happening is you learn to read and write initially from your parents, and if your parents can't read and write, well, then it's hard to teach your kids.
Well, it's not important to you if you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it is in this world, it is very important.
Of course.
And it doesn't. You don't have to be in the traveling community to be illiterate.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that struggled with reading and writing, and from early ages through undiagnosed dyslexia, and other things like that, or some other condition that stopped them from slow learning. But they might have been brilliant in other ways.
And there's it's not a phobic thing, or it's not like you're not against someone because you made a joke.
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
other, like you make a joke that you that
100%. It
is
doesn't mean that I don't like you. I'm
yeah,
just making fun of a situation. Or and it's not just me. There's other comedians that,
and or you take the piss out, like
and I take more.
or the stereotype itself
Yeah,
could be
the
just funny.
stereotype. Or and then I was hit with this. Oh, you're punching down. There's no such thing as punching down in comedy.
Yeah,
I don't believe that there is. I think everything is open for, if it's done right. Everything is open. Like I've punched up, I've punched down, I've punched myself. Punched myself more than I've punched anyone, and I've said bad things about myself as well. Uh, but yeah, but like groups are groups, and that's fine. I'll argue the toss on that with any of them. But I tell you something, that was the toughest week I've ever put in on social media. I nearly gave in. I nearly caved in,
yeah,
and I don't cave in. I was tired, I suppose, from a lot of live shows, and I was getting this constant. They come in droves,
yeah,
and the problem is they close off their pages, so only people that are following them or they're following can comment. So it looks like there's a barrage of everyone's in their favor. Everyone is on their side. But initially it's just themselves that they're arguing about.
I
Until I made it public on my own page. And
yes,
that's when they stopped.
yeah.
Like there was no more than after that. Like literally like that.
I tell you what, the real
And
but
I had for that I had to do a 2.5 minute video, which is on the Twitter. I think it's Twitter I only put on because it's Twitter. You'll never see these groups on Instagram or Facebook because they can't close off their pages.
yeah, true.
It's only on Twitter.
Well, I tell you what, it's for obviously we had lots of discussions that week about how you should handle it,
Yeah.
how you like where
You seen me in here.
Yeah.
I never spent as long on a video as I ever did with that
Oh,
one.
it
I
just
was
mulling it over,
mulling it over,
reworking it,
reworking it.
like the one thing about that though, that week you had started your campaign to do the 5 marathons in 5 days, and like you were raising money for children with cancer.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
these
right. Yeah. That is right.
assholes, These
That
assholes that are like
that's what got to me the
these
most.
fucking campaigners that
Yeah.
are like for travelers' rights. Now they some of them are whatever. They were torpedoing videos that were going to be supporting
That's right.
children with cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
They attacked.
torpedo
They
those
attacked the group. In fact, the Cancer Fund for Children contacted me to say, would I take the video down? I thought they meant the video that I done
for yes,
for the humorous video.
but it
But
wasn't.
actually, it was the video. It was the campaign video for the group on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
is-
initially said no fucking way,
Yeah.
but then I realized that it was their video that they wanted to take it down.
Yeah.
So I had to take down the charity video
and repost it.
and repost it again later down the line
But that, like that,
because
Let-
they were
if you- if
attacking
you look at
they were
you
attacking the
gotta
charity
be a
group.
real shithead. You gotta be a terrible.
Oh
person.
my god, yeah.
You gotta be a real bad person to go and start torpedoing a kids' charity video.
Yeah.
Because you're offended by something you said in
By
a
a r-
previous week.
A week earlier. In fact, I think it was more than a week
Yeah.
earlier.
And like you gotta be like basically you're saying my ideology and what I think of the world is more important than the kids with cancer that you're raising money for.
Yeah.
Like how self-involved do you have to be?
No, it was just
Madness.
and you seen me in here, and I went up. I tell you what happened. I went up then. I knew it was just the videos were just being too long. The videos of the reboot, and I usually
the
just bang them out.
reviews, yeah.
The reboot, it was just taking too long. It was like it was turned into a 5 minute video because I wanted to get my point across, but it was taking 5, sometimes 6 minutes.
Yeah, because you're
record.
trying to explain.
I was trying to explain. And I went up to my grandparents' house. They're no longer there anymore. My grandfather passed away, and my mother's in home, or my grandmother's in home.
Mm.
But I went up and I stayed up there the night, and I mulled over it, and I was like, oh, will I just leave it all together?
Yeah.
And I got a phone call from Martin Maloney, and he he said, "Don't back down." Literally, but the way he said it, he was behind. He was just behind me, and
Yeah.
that's all I needed. I just needed that push to do it, and I said, "Fuck it." I said, "I'm going to do it," and eventually, I just banged out the video there and then, straight off the bat in the morning after I had a bit of a sleep, and it was 2 hours and 28 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
And in fairness, the Sunday World shared it.
Yeah,
A couple of the
yeah.
papers shared it.
Like it's mad that like because the way I look at Twitter, social media, I always go my approach to it is it's not real life.
Yeah,
It's like you don't walk down the street and go you never hear or do you hear what he said?
yeah,
You go,
yeah,
what did he say? He goes, well he tweeted this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's never a thing.
But
You know, do you hear what John thought? Do you hear what John thinks? John
yeah,
thinks black people are this. He's like, what? I was talking to John earlier. He sound, you know,
and the thing is, if you go back on any of my videos, there's nothing that's, there's certain things that you don't touch. Only an idiot would do certain things. You don't make fun of dead kids or rape or anything like that. Yeah, I mean there a lot that you would anyway, or domestic abuse or someone that's been killed or anything like that.
of
There's
course.
certain things that you just don't touch, and only a real idiot would do that.
Yeah.
Uh, but
But I said that
there is a lot.
there's a morbid curiosity with some things that have to be approached, and like the stuff that they're approaching, like it doesn't really affect your life. You know, it shouldn't affect your life the way it does.
Yeah,
But
no,
like,
no, 100%.
these controversies that I don't know, you go in the grand scheme of things, you know, they're stressful at the time, but
Yeah, the
just
stressful. Like
speed
that was the toughest one. Now the trans one I took on the chin, and
took up the ass.
I did. Um,
Yeah, it's mad. I in it's all relevant. Like
yeah,
you know, like
yeah. You
you
see, that's all
see what
forgotten
happened
about
with
now.
Dave Chappelle when he released his special, and the trans community went after Netflix. They had paid him $60 million
That is
to do
right.
this.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, what was his controversy?
He told a few jokes that were a little bit au fait.
Okay, okay. Against
Wasn't
the trans community.
yeah, well they'd be seen as a bit insensitive, but he tells this story about a friend of his that was trans that that basically the long story short, she wanted to be a comedian. She really went for it, and he gave her the opportunity. This girl called Daphne, the opportunity to go up on stage.
Yeah,
You know, and then he had his special had come out, and the trans community attacked him, and she came out in support of Dave Chappelle.
yeah.
And then there was a massive pile on Twitter on this girl Daphne, and what ended up
But
she
why
ended
did they
up-
get? Why did they attack David Chappelle in the first place?
because his jokes are
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
his jokes are on the line
Yeah,
or over the
okay,
line, you
okay,
know,
okay.
or seen as offensive.
Yeah, I haven't really
But-
watched him much. I know some people used to
But yeah,
really like him.
this girl Daphne, his style of comedy is brilliant. Like
Yeah.
the way he constructs stories and yeah, amazing. But like this girl Daphne or this trans girl Daphne had taken her own life then.
What?
So yeah, so now obviously that the whole story as a whole
No,
is
that's
a
sadder
big
than
one, but-
anything that anyone would get.
but
would
like
get
the
offended by.
pylon on Twitter was not the way he told the story was not the thing that made her take her own life,
Mhm.
but it was a contributing factor.
Okay.
So
That's
like
sad.
these things have real world consequences that I
Yeah.
know I'm the first to go, "Ah, it's just Twitter.
Yeah.
They're not real people. Because that's
It-
the thing
look,
for me.
It
I
is
don't
just
believe
Twitter,
it.
but I can tell you something now, and I'm thick-skinned, and I've been very low in life. I've been very high in life, and I've taken a lot of shit on the chin, and I'd have a thick skin, but that week was nearly tested me. It really, when you get constant shitty, even though they're untrue
Yeah.
remarks all the time, constantly when you turn on, you can't turn on anything. and there's something, especially Twitter. I couldn't turn on Twitter, and it was just a barrage because, as I said, it was I hadn't made it public, and it was only their pages
Yeah.
that I was hearing from.
Yeah, like the other side is, well, you saw what happened with Caroline Fleck, and
Yes,
they, and like this, that they're obviously very dramatic
I remember
cases.
making a reference to Caroline Flack when she got so much hassle, right? Then she took her own life. Then people were like, "Oh, be kind," They
Yeah.
really jumped on the fucking the
Well,
bandwagon
who the
there.
fuck could do that in the first place?
Bandwagon. Everyone, be exactly. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind. Everyone was putting up these
Yeah,
things on Facebook. They were turning their profiles purple or some
yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that, or
yeah.
be kind on them. And a week later, COVID kicked in, and people were literally ripping their people's heads off for
Yeah.
loaves of bread
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's
milk.
it's madness.
Crazy. Which
Madness.
like, oh, there's going to be no bread next week. Never did we run out of bread,
No,
or never did we run out of toilet
toilet
paper.
paper. Yeah,
You know,
but like,
just but this mania, it's this driven, it's this mob mentality. It's fucking mental.
100%.
What's this?
TJ?
Very good, very good.
Anyone else in the comments?
We'll keep
Important
this
controversy.
short because it is so late,
Yeah.
and we'll wrap it up fairly soon. But going forward, it's going to be tough to create content. Um,
Well, the way social media is now,
for the likes of me and my style, anyway.
even like, well, I think anyone that's going to court any controversy is going to see it or push the ever. Comedy is supposed to be that last bastion of free speech in a
Yes.
way, but it's where that can only happen when you're on stage.
Yes.
You can say what you want on stage.
Yeah, that's
You
the
better-
beauty.
it
That's
just
the
better be
beauty of the
funny.
live shows. Yeah, it better be funny. Yeah,
You know,
because if you're not funny, people
online,
won't come back. The
online,
best advertisement you get is word of mouth.
100%. And but online, and you, Chris Perez pointed out perfectly, they're actually private. They're private companies.
Yeah.
They're not public utilities.
Yeah.
It's not. This is like
Very
the
good,
end of the
Chris.
day.
Sometimes you do hit a diamond.
You'd be amazed what Chris Perez can come up with every
Yeah,
now and again.
sometimes.
But he is right,
On
because
the ball.
at the end of the day, if these were public utilities, then the rules would be different.
Yeah.
But then would that be right?
Well, they have their own narrative that they want to spin as well.
Well, look, at the end
But
of the
you
day,
have to-
they're
people have
for
to-
advertising.
Like even today, the reason I thought of doing this evening was I done a video where I don't know if did I say this at the beginning of the podcast,
Yeah.
where I mentioned what's happening in the Middle East, and I
Yeah.
know that it was restricted even by using the words Palestine and Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
You just know your page.
Yeah.
And you know how it's taken long. A video is taking long to take off.
Yeah.
You know that when I was in America, actually, a lad that was in my company put up something on his stories, and like it was just noticeable that no one seen it.
Yeah.
Like no one seen it.
Yeah.
It was invisible. We checked his page, we couldn't see the story
Mm.
because it was, and that's not
normal.
That's not coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So anyway,
they've got the control.
they have the
Um,
control.
Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That would make life an awful lot better for
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, indeed.
Obviously, we'll be going on this a lot more
A
regular.
lot more
so-
regular, yeah. Especially into the winter, there isn't as many live shows coming up, so I'll be concentrating on this because I am writing a new show. Will I ditch all the gags from the last show? Probably not, or I'll rework them. But some of them were just too good to take out. But the format will be changing,
Perfect.
and maybe a lot of more storytelling, like real storytelling. I might add that into the show as well. So look
Um,
out for the new shows coming up.
Yeah, Jack Walsh says hi, Stephen and Chris.
How are things,
old
Jack?
Jackie
Are you
boy.
well? Jack was at a show. Is that a retracted message from Dara Brady? Dara, spit it out, whether it's good or bad. Jack Walsh was at. Big shout out to our good friend Jack. He
Cute.
has
He's a top man.
a top man. He's been on a
Um,
lot of our marathons. He was at one of our shows. It was great crack, Jack. I'd say I'd say it opened your eyes. I'd say there was things that you've seen there that you've never seen before, or heard before.
Um, yeah,
Chappelle is says straight hand.
knows there's a man turned down a lot of money. God bless Caroline Fleck.
Yes.
Yeah, he turned down 50 million.
Did he?
When
For which?
went on hiatus.
From Netflix.
From Paramount
Oh, from Paramount.
a couple of years ago.
Do they have their own
Went
channel?
to Africa.
Fair
So
enough.
he just fucked off. So amazing story about that. You'll have to
Out
get
with the
into
Zulu
that.
boys.
He sure was. Kieran says, I don't know the ins and outs, lads, but just keep doing what you're doing. Your audience will be there. That's very kind.
Cheers,
That's
Kieran. Thank you
nice
very
of
much.
Kieran to say that. They've never let us down.
They have never let us down. No, 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 no. And yeah, we'll just keep throwing it out there with the pages. Hopefully, they don't get restricted or banned, and then
Just
we'll do
keep on
the live
going
shows
live.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And someday, we'll be on the Two Johnnies.
Oh, I don't know if we can ever get that far.
I don't know. I'm just waiting for it.
Excellent, guys. Look, thanks a lot for jumping on the live stream. Been very emotional. It's been good.
It has.
hanging
It
out,
was
mate.
good. Nice short one. What was your favorite yoke back in the day? What does that mean?
Mitzi, I'd say.
Oh, the Mitzi. Yeah, I wasn't big into yokes. It was later on in life I got into the yokes. Drink a creamy pint or a shot in of vodka was my poison, and I was bad enough on that.
It still is now.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Right, guys. Thanks for
Look,
tuning in.
thanks a
Subscribe to
lot.
the channel, and till the next time, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay away from yourself.